Welcome back. So now I will be taking you through Android SDK installation. So the whole mobile testing world, Android takes precedence because of comprehensive tools and a lot of support and documentation. So if I explain you Android, you will be able to really kickstart your mobile testing initiatives. So in the beginning, we need to install Android SDK. So that is the first step of starting mobile testing with Android. So the software development kit SDK, it's not only for the developers. So we also need it, the testing people. So to start with, you need to check whether you have a Mac or a Windows PC. Based on that, you can pick up your installation. And in the Windows PC, you have 64-bit machines and 32-bit machines. So you should check for which machine you are downloading the SDK. So if you go to android.com and then navigate down, please take a look at the link Android SDK and then click on it. So I already opened it. So here you'll find out this page where you can either set up the Android development tools for your Eclipse, which is already there, or you can download a fresh ADT bundle and the related libraries. So since I am opening it from a Mac, it's giving me the ADT bundle for Mac. And if you open this from a Windows machine, it will give you whether you want to download it for 64-bit machine or 32-bit machine. And I'll be able to pull up this presentation, check that whether it is 64-bit machine or 32-bit machine or a Mac. Based on that, download it. And if you already have an Eclipse installation with you, you can set up in an existing IDE. So the instructions for that is available here, and Android always gives you very comprehensive documentation. So you can take a look at that. Like if it is an Eclipse plugin, you have to go to help and click add. For example, this is an Eclipse, so help, install new software, and then you can press add and specify ADT plugin and then give away the URL. This sometimes this doesn't work, so that time you can just remove this S and then give only HTTP. That should work. So since I had downloaded the whole bundle from here, I don't need to do that, because this is about setting up Android SDK in an existing IDE, integrated development environment. Now you should because once you download this, you will get two folders and one file if it is in Windows PC. One is Eclipse folder, and then you will get the SDK folder, the software development kit folder, and an SDK updater you will get. So you should check that you will download it as a zip file, and then you should extract it, and then you can check there will be two folders and a file, and you can double click and open Eclipse exe inside the Eclipse folder. And then you also need to do this. You should go to your environmental variables, and then just just press Windows key if you are using a Windows machine, and then type path in that, so you'll get environment variables. You can also approach this from a control panel, or right click the computers, my computer, and then you will and then advanced you can get this. So in there you should specify these variables, Android home, and then you should give where exactly your Android SDK is located, the path. And you should also create the Java home folder. And obviously I forgot to mention that you should really install Java before you install the Android. So I had displayed here. Check it's 64-bit or 32-bit and start the download. And if you have an Eclipse, and try the alternate path of directly installing from the DL path, and then install the SDK. There is no installation required because it's all about files. You will get two folders and a file. And then set up the path environment variable. Just make sure that you also install Java JDK from Oracle website, and then set up the environment variable as well, like this. And then make sure that you also add your Android path, tools path, in the system variable as well. There is a small hack. If you navigate to your Android home, ADT bundle, this is what you will extract, and from there you will go to SDK folder. From there you will find out platform tools platform folder. So go to open the tools folder, and then copy the entire path, and then put that in path environment variable. You hope you know that there is a path environment variable in your environment variables. If there is, and it's not there, then create it. So for example, it should look like this. So this is my path. You can also try that in a Windows machine. You can just check path. If there is no path, you should create it. And once that is done, you should update the SDK tools and drivers. Right now you might have installed Java, and then you downloaded the relevant Android folders, and then now you will open your Eclipse exe from Eclipse folder. Yes, like this, and then it will look like this. And there you can go to Window and check open Android SDK Manager from here. It will start the SDK Manager. It will look like this. and there if you will be able to see all the available packages. For example, now this is API level 3 and Android 1.5, the cupcake Android, and then the platforms and Google APIs. For example, if you're developing above 2.3 OS, then you don't need to really install this. But if you're supporting all the other OS, you should really install this. This is for the developers, and obviously there will be one SDK tools will be installed, and you can, when you are free and if you have a good bandwidth, you should make sure that all the SDKs are installed. If you check that, you can say that like this, and then yeah, if you do that, samples, and then if you check this one up, there will be a lot of packages. This is 4.3, and then you can check this out. There will be a lot of packages, so make sure that you install each one of them one by one. Install everything when you have a good bandwidth, and make sure you install this Google USB driver for Windows. If you are in Windows, this is for automation web driver. If you, as I said, try to install everything. So once that is done, this is the third step, your Android SDK is up. It will look like a welcome screen. Then you can, from there you can minimize like this, and then you'll get it. Now once this is done, the next part is you should create an AVD package, which is Android virtual machine. You will go for a virtual device. You will create a virtual device. You will create a virtual device, meaning that the moment you install multiple versions of Android, you will be able to create different virtual devices. I'm going to create a AVD. This is how it is. Say test. Since this is a device, what is a device size? In Windows, this is not, it will take a huge memory. So make sure that you make it something smaller. And then right now I get target. Here I see 4.4 and I don't see anything else, because if I install everything else like 4.3, 3.0 and 1.6, 1.5, 2.3.3, then I'll get multiple targets here. I can select different targets, meaning that I'll be able to test it in different screen sizes and different operating system versions. Okay, there are different operating systems versions like Cupcake and Eclair, Froyo, Eclair, Ice Cream Sandwich, Jelly Bean, and now Kit Kat. So there are different, and Honeycomb is for the tablet. So there are different versions of it. So you will be able to create different versions. Like if you install the OS, if you install, for example, now I'll just close this down. I'll open this and I'll show you in the SDK Manager. The SDK Manager, if you install Honeycomb, for example, this is for Honeycomb. If you install this is a tablet for tablets. If you install this, you will be able to create a virtual device of that size, meaning that like a tablet. Now I can create a virtual device like this. Now you are looking at an emulator for the first time, if you are not really seen this before. And this is the emulator. So I'll just minimize this, not really going to confuse you. So that is how it goes. So now if I install this Honeycomb related components, I'll be able to create a target for Honeycomb. I can create a virtual device for Honeycomb here. Now right now I get only 4.4. If I install 3.3, I'll 3.0, I'll get the Honeycomb I can be able to create. So now let's go test another AVD. You can give any name and device size, and now I have only one. And sometimes if you install Intel related packages there, you will be able to get Intel also. Now it's ARM, Advanced Risk Machine, so it's a company, and you must be knowing it. You can Google it later and you can check whether if you can emulate a camera. So it will install the related libraries, and you can just hardware keyboard present, you can just keep it on. And the memory options, what is a virtual machine heap and RAM, you can just leave it as is. Internal storage, you can leave it as is. And this SD card size, if you really since it is an emulator and there is no SD card and in there, so you can specify a size, like you should specify something more than 9 MB, so it is like 10 MB or 100 MB, anything, so that you can run applications that supports an SD card in your emulator itself. Okay, that is how it goes. So if I create, there will be another virtual machine will be created. So I'm just creating right now. Yeah, there. So since it's both are one platform, like it literally no use, but still for testing purpose I created that one. So that is how a virtual device manager works. The moment you do that, then you will be able to create an application or from here, like so. Now you can create a sample Android application project. Go there, it's in Android application project. What you see right now is Eclipse customization for Android. So now I should say test IVIA. First letter should be caps. Project name, there is a project name, sessions. The com.example is a generic project, so just say com, and this is how it goes. And if you specify this in small letter, it will give you a small warning, so keep it in the caps. And here, for what is the minimum SDK version, so if I select 2.3, it will not appear to you cannot run that for 2.2 OS, so you can keep it 2.2 as a minimum version. Target SDK and then compile with and then theme, so you can keep it as is, and then you can move on to the next. Create custom launcher icon, create activity, mark this project as a library. You don't need to do that right now, but as I told you before, in Android everything is an activity or a service. So if you want to write a service without a user interface, you can make libraries from here. This is working sets, you can ignore it as of now. These are all different set of icons, like so in a different screen size it should reflect different icons. So in a tablet you need a larger icon, or else your icon will be blurred. That is why we are giving a different icons for different sizes. So you can just keep it as is. And then next, this is just a sample full screen project, so we just need to show you that how this whole thing works, and I will be able to showcase you when we proceed to the Robotium stage, where we will do some basic automation. But right now, if you are doing this for the first time, you can start with this. So next, it's a full screen activity, finish, and then we have our project right now with us. So you get the source files and generated files and for which OS it is, and you can see all the related libraries which is automatically added there. So now I'm going to run this as an Android application. So right click that, press run as, whether it is an Android JUnit test or an Android application, you can choose that. Click on that Android application because we created a sample application, and click OK. If the emulator is not opened yet, it will open it. So since right now I connected my phone Samsung S2 in there, so it's giving me options where to run this. Right now I'm showcasing you the inside the emulator. I'll be able to showcase you in the device as well in the next session, but right now I have two options. In first option, I have an emulator already running. It's asking me whether I have to run this there, or I have a cable which is connected to a Samsung S2. So it's asking me, you want me to run it there. Okay. You can check ADB devices in your, if you really added your environmental variable, the tools path, as I said earlier, you can issue the ADB Android debug bridge anywhere in the command prompt, but right now I have to navigate to the folder where the Android SDK is located, so skip it off. So right now I have already an emulator running, or there is another AVD which we created right now, so we can do that. So if you want to take a look at the manager now, you can click on that. So we have created test and test trivia. So if I need to run it here, it will create another emulator session. So I'll run it here in the emulator which is already open. Okay. So now I choose. Okay. So here there is an option, use same device for future launches. You can choose that if it is you are constantly doing in one particular device or an emulator. So click OK. So now when it is running, you can click on that to show what are all the things are happening. So certain times in a big project, multiple things will be added, multiple projects will be there, so it will show you a lot of content. Now we are seeing that there is a dummy content and there is test trivia and there is a dummy button. So this is what the main screen activity we created. And you can go back to go to the menu, and you will also tap on this applications, and then you can see that this is our project. This is my previous project, and I can check the test trivia app as well. Yeah, it is there. You can drag and drop. So this is with the dummy content and the button. So these are all the icons which was displayed. This is a small icon and the big icon, both the icons which we saw in the beginning. So this is how it goes, meaning that right now in this session you should download the SDK and run the emulator at least once. Though we are doing that very quickly in the video, you should really pause that and then try to do the things which is in there in front of your screen, and then you make sure that before skipping this video or before completing this video, you should run the emulator at least once and create a sample project and run that as an Android application. So I will I'm trying to tell you what we did earlier. So in the beginning we just went to android.com, and then we went to developer resources, and then we went to download the SDK, and we downloaded the SDK. We download the suitable SDK, and then we extracted that. We got 2 folders and 1 file. One is SDK Manager, and one is Eclipse folder, and one is SDK folder. We open the Eclipse folder, and there we double click eclipse.exe, and then this came up. Then there we went to Window, and we went to Android SDK Manager to update different 4-5 SDKs, and then we created from the same window Android virtual devices. We created a couple of virtual devices to run our application, to see our output, and then we created a sample Android project, and then we ran that project as an Android application. We ran that as an Android application in a selected emulator or a device which is connected. Okay, so and in order to run this, you should also have Java, and you might have done Android Home and Java Home setup, and then the path also, you added the Android path and Java path. So it's a lot of work, I know, so but you should really have a lot of patience, and then you should really complete this activity before we go navigate to anything else. So that is how I'm planning to end the session, and hope you will enjoy this session and in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you.